Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever, the Killie Fans podcast, episode number 40 of season 4. Coming to you live from Limelight Studios in Irvine. My name's Paul Montgomery. To my right hand side we have one media professional. His name's Callum Scott, alright son?
Media professionals are overstretched there, I think, man, but I'm here and I'm on your right hand side.
We've got a room full on the night because we've got two very, very special guests. Across the desk for me we have Scott and Blair from the media team at the club. Hello gentlemen.
How are we?
Very well, how are you?
How are you doing? It's
good, thanks.
Brilliant, thanks for having us on. It's a pleasure.
Delighted, always thrilled to have a representative for the Squirrels joining us here on the poddy. Obviously we're under immense pressure. We're amateurs, you're professional. Oh, you're a kind of semi-pro now.
That's a slight push, isn't it?
Do you think so?
Aye.
Well, when you go through like the kind of difficulty in FIFA, starts amateur, semi-pro.
Aye, right, legendary.
These are the legendary.
Right,
say, man.
Where would you say we are? Where would you think?
We're a right healthy semi-pro, man.
Aye,
right,
I think I'm just a bit at the beginning. You just kick the ball about.
Aye, when you get the one-on-one.
Aye, you just make L2 to get a free kick and all that. That's probably the level I'm operating. But honestly, boys, thank you for joining us. Aye. It's genuinely a thrill for us to have people who are at the club and we can get that wee bit of insight on what's happening in there. I think I speak for everybody, and when I say the media work obviously has been tremendous. Some big hits over the past few years. You've obviously got a new man steering the ship, and Ewan Payton. What's he like?
Ewan's brilliant. Like
that is good.
Everybody knows Ewan. Everybody knew him. He was like a part of the furniture already.
Right.
Like the Killie Chronicle, coming every week to presser for a couple of years, so it's quite a natural step in. He's doing well.
It was a seamless transition.
That's what you're after, isn't it?
It's the perfect way, and obviously credit to Lachlan as well and all the predecessors prior to that. Like, the club's been on a great way in the past 10 years or so when it comes to media, and hopefully we can keep that record going forward.
Kickstart it with your brother?
Yeah, it did. He's obviously now up at Aberdeen, who are battling with at the moment, but he's done really well for himself. The title changes every time I speak to him, but I believe he's like one step off the board or something, so he's doing a good job.
Right,
and he's a Killie fan as well, so that's all that matters.
Brilliant. So we'll get loads and loads to get through, everybody. We don't have a game to preview, so we'll get longer to chat to these gentlemen, obviously, but we'll talk about the Dundee game on Saturday there, a 2-each draw. It's obviously the final game of the kind of main fixtures. We're heading into the split now. We've got the fixtures that we can talk about as we move on. If we get your questions on the X and on the KillieFC.com forums, a couple of private messages as well. We got one for Adam who wanted to talk about the Trust Club on Saturday. Willie Waters was there, so we'll make sure we read that out and just everything in between. But we'll just start with Saturday then, I think, Cal. A 2-2 draw. My take on that before we get into the actual minutiae of the game is a 2-2 draw at home to Dundee, as well as enhancing the conspiracy theory, isn't actually a terrible result, but given the importance of the fixture and the fact that we've only got 2 more home games, felt like it was a game that we had to win. That didn't happen. Obviously a bit of controversy at the end with the VAR stuff. Plenty of questions, we'll get through all that as we go, but mate, what was your take on the game on Saturday, man?
It's obviously disappointing with the end because I was confident that we would come in and get the 3 points. But it's one of them, like the result in isolation is absolutely fine, but it goes back to what we've said on here for some weeks now, that nothing can be put at the door in the last couple of weeks in results then. This is what happens when you go 17, 18 games without a victory. Picking up 1 or 2, like even a couple of points there, you're already in a ultimately massive better position. Never mind if we were able to turn 1 or 2 of them into wins, you'd be well looking up the table. But I think over the course of the game we were actually the better team. I think that we missed too many key chances at 2-1 that could have put the game to bed, and I think we would have deservedly won it. Again, particularly after having that kind of shaky spell in the first half where when Dundee equalised and then they get the goal chalked off, you're thinking, oh no, that's the kind of thing that you would see us fold in the past. But to regain control of the game and our approach to the second half, I thought we were the better team for certainly the first 15-20 minutes of the second half, and then naturally the nerves kick in and ultimately Dundee score. And when you look at it, as McCann said post-match himself, when you're dealt with that penalty at the end, maybe it ends up being a good point because we could have easily been walking away with nothing.
Gentlemen, difficult for you. So before we get into the actual game itself,
Yeah.
what's your Saturday like in terms of just watching the football? Because I know that the KA1 cam and all that stuff, that'll be your work. Do you just get to sit and watch it, or are you always working on it in the mouth? How does it work?
Probably a better person.
So for me, you know, sometimes I struggle about talking about a game afterwards,
Right.
like analysing it, because people ask, like, do you think that's a penalty or whatever? Honestly, I don't know. I'm watching it through a tiny wee screen,
Right.
and half the time it feels like I'm not even watching the game. Like I'm following it, if that makes sense. You're always following the ball, see the goal, you see the important bits, but you're analysing the game in my head. I'm like, what actually happened there? Like, if somebody's like, oh, tell me about that second goal. I couldn't even tell you. Like the Dundee second goal, I remember the ball getting in the net, but I couldn't even tell you who scored it or what it even looked like.
Yeah.
So for that aspect, it is weird because it's like, I'm a Killie fan, and I feel like I've not watched the game
Ah, right. Aye.
quite a while, if that makes a bit of
Aye,
sense.
no,
I know
totally.
it sounds daft, I'm at all of them, but you never get to just sit and enjoy them.
Ah,
But-
right, interesting.
But aye, it's different. Aye.
So that's maybe been no a terrible thing this year sometime. That sounds alright.
Honest, no.
I get involved in
Aye.
that myself, man. So what about you, man? Is it slightly different for you? You getting maybe an overview of the match as it
Yeah,
unfolds?
kind of like more like where I kind of position myself. I'm just behind the bench, so like I kind of feed up to Ewan at the back or Lachlan. I've a lot more things that happen, kind of stay on top of the socials that way. But I'm kind of more busier before and
Right.
after the game. Well, Scott's the full
Aye,
game.
switches. Aye.
But I've done what Scott done earlier in the season. I've done it up at Brother. It's great when it's a day like that. It's like 30 degrees, you're in shorts and everything. But see when it's peeing a rain down and this guy stood at the side of the pitch and you just look at him, he's like, he's like
That game makes
guy
you
who
still
flushed away. He's like, it's no fun at all. But honestly, it's like for people that never really done anything like what the cameras are that, like what this guy does, he's a magician. Like trying to like follow that like the game. It's so hard. Like, try to get the perfect zoom. I done it for the Broder game, the St Mirren game, the quarter final, the Livy Cup game, the group stage. I've done it for a few, and it's honestly it's a task and a half.
Tough job.
Oh,
So
aye.
we're actually going to get a wee bit more deep into that stuff on the Patreon this week, everybody. Going to chat to these guys just about their career, how they get involved in it, what they do, what they're hoping to do. But in terms of the game then, so you're about the club. What was the atmosphere like after it? Was it a point gain? Did it feel like that, or did it feel like two dropped? What did you
It's
pick
one
up?
of them. It's like you were saying, we were the better team. We controlled the bulk of it, and it's what that story where you just can't kill the game off. And at the end, like you save a penalty, so you're no two down. But it probably does feel as if like it's a game you'd like to be winning, going into the split. You've only got 2 more home games, but the atmosphere since McCann and Dodgy have came in, it's been high.
All right.
Regardless of results, like it's no really dipping.
Yeah.
We're all pushing in the same direction. Like, would you agree?
No, absolutely. Like something that pointed out to me like, straight away with McCann and Dodds is like within like 5 minutes of us meeting them, like you were like, this. Like sometimes you just know.
Good
like,
feeling
I'm
about
sure everybody knows when like they meet someone, doesn't matter if it's football or whatever, you go, he's a good guy. Fuck, maybe
When I met you.
exactly. But sometimes you not many folk have to say that about me right enough, but at least you do. But sometimes you get a gauge and then you got that really quickly, didn't it? And then for kind of the first time since Steve Clark, we got like kind of access inside the dressing room to like film some stuff, and hopefully that is some stuff going forward we can do. Some managers aren't too keen on kind of things like that. Some are more traditional. It's more of a thing in Scotland that people don't really agree on. But that's something we're kind of pushing quite hard to kind of like give the fans as much content as we can possibly give. But people obviously with the respect that there's certain things that people shouldn't know about and shouldn't be on camera. But no, straight away the green light with stuff like that, and I think you've seen it in one of the K1 cams or like the post-match scenes, like Doddsy cut up to you and cut up to me. He's like, honestly, they're brilliant. They're brand new guys and they're absolutely great for the football club. They fit the mould perfectly.
I think we're doing really, really well, mate, generally.
Well, it's amazing because I'm buzzing for more so the Patreon this week to get proper into all that and all the behind the scenes stuff, but it shows you the impact where like, again, if that's the lift they're getting news, I mean, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but you guys been the media team, so never mind what it's doing to the boys in the dressing room.
Like, we're not going to repeat some of the stuff he said because, like we say, we were fortunate enough to be in there. But the one thing that he did say, and that he said publicly, so I can say it, is like it maybe really reiterated that like it starts here, like it starts with zero. Everything we set, and he said that in press. So I'm not saying anything off.
No.
Like that is like, and we felt that, and you could honestly when that meeting ended. Because obviously we are filming, but we didn't want to film at all, so we didn't want to walk out or any talking, so we were signing up for the full thing. But it's just you came out of that and you're like, ever since then we've went on like a high, I'd say, in terms of like the feel good factor around the club. And
Like even like, regardless of results, like even after Easter Road and stuff, when we're sat and working in the wee office, you can hear the boys at training. Like they're enjoying it, they're louder, they're more competitive. You can hear them going for it. Like even in training, they really want to win. And I'm not saying that wasn't there before, but it has instilled it's like a mentality of these are good players. Like go out and prove it. Do you know what I mean?
like the one that everybody always goes back to when Steve Clark came in, the 3-0 at home to Hibs. I would say, like, I'd genuinely say, like, the great performance at Ibrox was like that. Like the 5-1 game. Was it 5-1?
I remember, didn't you?
It's
Played
like,
well.
obviously, the Tyrese John Jules in the halfway line. But I can't say too much about that, but I have my opinions on that sort of stuff. But I genuinely thought that was a performance that the 5-1 was nowhere near the scoreline. And I remember Greg Killie doing press after that game, and we said that, like, we left Ibrox. It sounds like, as if you just look at the scoreline, you're like 5-1, Jesus, Killie got battled, but it was nowhere near that. And I think we took a lot of positives from that game, and we went on. Obviously, there's Falkirk's. That's obviously, I'd say that's probably one of the worst results of the season. There's no shying away from that or anything like that. Manager said that, players have come out and said that, but I do think there is like a turning point, and we are turning in the right direction. It's just about things clicking, and these next 5 games are going to define the season.
It's just very positive there, wasn't it? That will not fly. Great start again on Saturday, man. Brilliant goal by Big Joe Hugo, who you're mates with now.
Well, remember he complimented my jacket, didn't he, man? Which I was delighted with that, mate. Good to get noticed, but I like him, man. He seems like he's got a lot about him, man.
Joe's brilliant. All the kind of new boys are brilliant, but Joe's one of these boys that have came in and understood the club straight away.
And coming from Man United to then come to like
Big step up.
Absolutely,
tough for the bloke.
huge. Yeah, he knows better than the other boy team in the city.
Well, bit of cracking finish again, mate, and he's definitely got a bit about him. That's exactly what you wanted, man. And you're on the front foot, early goal. You're thinking we're on to another win at home here.
That's exactly like with the way that he started, because it was funny. Again, we'll maybe come on to it separately. It was good to see there was an increase in uptake on the tickets. Again, thanks to the scheme that you guys ran in comparison to what's happened before. Still felt slightly flatter than I would have expected, but I think it was because it's such an edgy game as well. But I was hoping, certainly where I was in the West Stand, was a hell of a lot more busier than I've seen it for situate it in that place for I'm now covering the games for, but it was mobs on about there. But these stand in the Muffet maybe weren't as busy as expected. But it was funny because there was edginess in the game, and then about seconds before we scored, the fans kind of just go right behind them, like, and I don't know if you noticed that, and there was like a kind of applause, and everybody's like, let's go, and then we scored literally off the back of that. You're thinking, right, here we go, but it's the way we end up conceding the goal to Dundee and that. But when we get back in as well, and to come back onto Hugo there, what I said every week for his Kiwana about his wee touches, man. It's even that's what like, and eventually leads to the second goal. Straight away, he knocks the ball back to Kiltie. Kiltie doesn't get the shot away the way he'd hope, but ultimately breaks to Larson, who's a brilliant finish. But all comes for Hugo, no thinking, right, what am I doing? Touch, holding on to it. He just knows right away. I'm firing you the ball straight back, and you're getting a shot away. And I think that game intelligence will be huge coming for the next 5 games.
For me, with Joe, it's off the ball, see his runs in behind. It's like the first game he came in, you're like, this guy's got a bit. You can tell he's played at a high level. Like you really can. He's very intelligent. On the ball and off the ball, as you said.
Training with Ronaldo does for you.
Well, that's not a bad start. So great goal. I mean, terrible defensively. I mean, is it Yogani that plays wide on the left for them? Very good player.
And see the worst
sends Brandon for a hot dog, mate. Let's be honest.
See, just before that as well, which makes it, because I was about to write my match report at that point, that Brandon was doing well against him up until that stage, because he wasn't giving him a break. He was on him all the time, and I'm thinking he's got to get the better of him. And literally, as I'm just thinking that, he goes and takes the touch and leaves him for dust, and I'm like, all right, well, that's that done and dusted. But because he's a good player, that Uganda, yeah, said good ball in, but go to defend the box better. Such a easy header for Murray, and end up to pat it in, and you're just like, here we go. But
it was so easy, mate. Like, goes by the right back, puts a cross in, your 2 centre halves are nowhere near the guy who's the target, and he's easy to spot, man.
And it's not even
big ginger at the top, man.
But I mean, again, because when it all happens to a lesser degree with these guys, because the more you get used to it, but even I'm finding that when you're working at the game, again, when Dundee equalise in the second half, I looked up and went, how's he clean through? For what I perceived to be clean through at that point, but we'll maybe come on to that. But I thought in my match report, I'm like, oh, like Ken Murray's ghosted in between the. But
It doesn't even clever run or something.
But he's not even. He just waits for it and it just lands right on his head. Very similar to the goal that Queen's Park scored against County on the Friday night. For like the wee sky in the park. I know Simon Murray's a good striker, but the ball just comes in and he doesn't move for it and he just guides it home.
Actually, thinking of both goals.
And then obviously the goal that he scores again. Murray gets chalked off. Goalkeeper's got to do better, and there isn't much in it. But obviously, you're going to half time. You're up 2-1. Shoning Larson for a fullback seems to be very, very comfortable going forward. Likes to shoot and all, and it's actually a cracking finish. I thought, man,
weak foot as well.
Aye.
Funny, like we knew about him for 4 months.
Oh, did you before he signed, right?
Maybe me, like, or what people do, like, they go on YouTube or whatever. So I found myself watching a lot of story on national games.
Right, keeping an eye on him.
By a perfectly legal means, by the course. And it's just like I was saying to Scott and like Lachlan at the time, I was like, he's a player.
Aye.
And he's one of the ones that came in and hit the ground running. And again, another great guy. Like, he's just brand new.
It's funny. I don't know if people have picked up on the social media. He's actually the only person we never get a goal video for.
Him and Nicky, aye.
He scored two of the last 4 home games or something.
Before he scored his first one, there's been a few times he's through, like, oh, by the way, you might score here. And then he scored, and we're like, oh, we really need to get one. And he just slipped our mind again. He scored at the weekend there, and I sent in the group chat, we need to do it.
When I think he signed, and then we had to try and get out early morning.
Just didn't have time.
We didn't have time, like, obviously with training and stuff like that, but there's more stories like that we can tell.
Aye.
I look forward to it, man.
But cracking goal, and then you're thinking again. You've wrestled because I think momentum's so huge in football. Like when it goes to one each, you feel like the momentum goes to the other team, but then you get wrestle it back. So I think for me, it's so disappointing that in the second half you don't kick on. I know Tisha was having a really good game, comes off. Kiltie misses a great chance to make it 3-1, and then the last 10-15 minutes descends into a farce, really, mate. Like Dundee's equaliser. Again, defensively, it's like it's no fantastic play, mate. It's a ball through. Again, the goalkeeper doesn't cover himself in glory for me. He's lukewarm, mate. He's neither hot nor cold, as Bill the Butcher would say. Makes that Scott Wright's mind up for him. Goes to 2 each, and then the penalty stuff, man. So what's your take on the latter part of the game and the penalty stuff?
So when it got to that, again, there's so much frustration for the crowd anyway with the way that the ref ultimately ended up refereeing, particularly that second half. It was just, there was even a few things first half. There was one, plus Hugo is getting pulled and ends up spinning the Dundee defender and trying to get into the box and gets pulled down, and he goes and gives a foul to Dundee. So there's wee bits like that that are just building up. And what probably didn't help matters either is conceding the penalty. We've got that free kick for about just kind of midway inside the attacking half,
red lines,
and he takes it short, and then the fans are getting annoyed, and ball comes in, and then that's ultimately where they break for to get the penalty. My initial instinct was that's never a penalty. Like with the way that the ball came in, I was like, no way. And I thought the ref was booking him for diving at first. I was like, surely he's not giving that.
I had the hallmarks of that, didn't it? That kind of swan dive thing. You get a booking for it.
Because I'm at the other end of the Frank Beattie now, so where I would my season ticket was, like, it would be a great view of it. But for where I was like, there's no way that's a penalty. And I seen he's giving it, I'm like, you're kidding on here. And then that's not even the biggest farce. The farce is the 7, 8. How many minutes after?
It's just that it's like, see, it's like it's killing in terms of the momentum of a game, and like it's hard for a lot of supporters' perspective, especially in Scotland, because even if the decision's made, like, you don't know why or the cause. And I know there was it was initially going off checking possible penalty, then it goes checking possible offside. A great example of that, in fact, 2 perfect examples of that were yesterday in the Premier League. I watched the 2 o'clock game, the Spurs-Tottenham game. Spurs got a penalty. The referee goes over to the monitor, explains why it was turned over and that. Brilliant. See, just wee tiny things like that, they're brilliant.
Makes a difference.
And then, like you say, in this instance, they're on offside. Cucurella scored to put Chelsea 1-0 up yesterday. He's offside probably by about this much. 30 seconds.
Been and gone. Aye.
That's like...
And you can accept the decision then easier, man. I think that's the big problem for me. And I know that both managers were frustrated post-match, and they were absolutely right, because it's farcical. It's like ridiculous. You ended up playing 106 minutes or something because that either the tech isn't working, the linesman can't make his mind up, the ref can't make his mind up. No, how long are you bringing it back? Let's look at the lines for the... And they end up guessing anyway. Yous are obviously inside the club, right? And without giving away secrets, what's the vibe about VAR? I hate it. I would get rid of it. I know loads of folk feel the same, certainly in the guys that we've got it. Are the players generally supportive of it? That the manager, or are they feeling the way that we do when it's just no help to anything?
It's something that's never really,
It's
like,
not really
we've never really spoke about it before, but if you want like my personal review, like I think it would be good if the people that were using the technology were better trained. And that's not me having a pop at referees, because like these guys are part-time and it's not a full-time job. If that is something that like all the clubs in Scotland could maybe put a bit more money into funding, and I know funding's tight across all of Scottish football, but if that's something that they could do, full-time referees, that they could focus, and then during the week they could like almost like analyse and practice things a bit better, maybe that would help the overall product for everybody. But in terms of like in the club, unless you like,
No, it's like the only thing I remember, like when it was coming through at the time, like Derek was McInnes, he was very pro like VAR. He was also of the the thinking that the technology is fine if you can get it run properly. Like you watch the World Cup, how seamless was that? Every time there was a decision, like you say the Chelsea, like 30 seconds it's done.
Well, that's what I noticed when I was doing South. I've mentioned it on here before, and it was the Sunderland Crystal Palace game. I went down to see our mutual pal Liam, and it was like a shove in the box, and it was by the time the goalie get the ball to take the goal kick, it was over. Whereas if that was in Scotland, they're like that, no, wait, and then they're calming everything down. The fans are getting pissed off because they're taking so long to come to the decision.
But what is the problem? Is there not enough angles? Is it they're not trained properly? I genuinely don't know, because I do think part of it is we don't have enough referees that are fully trained, like you say.
Yeah.
So they're bringing the low league ones up.
you're kind of
Aye, they're rushing them up. Aye,
you're setting them up to fail almost.
Aye,
Like,
aye.
it's,
It was getting. I think what they ended up doing, at the start, was the experienced ones. They were going into the VAR room.
Yep.
So the less experienced ones are coming, and they're running Premier League games.
I know, and they're not
And
ready
if
to run
they're
them,
not ready
mate.
for that, and that's not on them, because there is a difference between League One, League Two, to running like even like a Killie Dundee.
100%.
Atmosphere, like you say, like the game turns so many times, and you can't jump onto the back of the fans or in.
That's what I think. I think you've stumbled across what the issue with the refs is, and we've got questions on it. To me, referees are like any other human being, right? They're going to make decisions, they're not going to get things right. They don't seem in control of the games. It seems like a personality thing, a confidence thing, that they just don't seem to be in control of their own decisions, and they're getting blown about like an empty crisp packet, all that part. 1 minute they're getting fouls for nothing, then the next minute they're taking 8 minutes to decide whether it's a millimetre offside on a penalty call. It's like they've got to have more control over the games.
Pure
man.
reactionary all the time,
All
and,
the time,
and I know that's a huge part of the ref, because ultimately you're reacting to what's going on in the park, but you've hit the nail on the head there. There's no control, even with that, and it was a minor one, but I don't know even if you've seen it benefited us in the end. But the St Mirren Celtic game, St Mirren have got a breakaway right before half time, and like in a counter attack they've got like a 1-on-1. You're not saying they score directly for it, but then the ref just blows and stops the game. You're like, they're never letting anything go, and it's
So it ended up at a 2-each draw, and again, as I said at the start of the show, that on its own isn't the worst result in the world. But I think the general consensus was because the away form has been so shit that you've got to win the home games, particularly to teams like Dundee who are run about you. We've not done that. We've got Dundee again at home, Dundee United at home, and the 3 away games are Aberdeen, St Mirren and Livy. 15 points to play for. You're probably going to need 10, do you reckon, Carl? Do you think that's fair to give yourself a chance?
the number I would say.
Aye.
I would say so, aye. I know that Gaby done a piece in the Chronicle again where it's that kind of 36 points mark appears to be would just be enough, but it's because of the nature of the bottom 6 as well. We have this and the top 6 slitting each other's throats, that we could still finish in the playoff, but we could be ultimately, I felt, be decided there after the second game, but we'll maybe only finish a point or two behind another team just by the way that the games come. So I think that what we need to go to Pittodrie, and we can't get hammered like we've been hammered too often away from him now. Like even a performance again, if we're able to go and pick up a point, that counters what happened at the weekend there, because it's a point that you're not expecting, but we just need a performance. We can't go and get rolled ever up there. I don't think that we will, but and we've got to find an away win. It's simple as that.
We've got to pull one out of the bag, and I hope that it's in the league and no in the playoff that we're needing this away win, because they just get it's just going to need to happen now. We said 3 or 4 weeks ago, boys, like there's definitely an upturn in performance. I think since McCann came in, we're sitting 7th or something in the league, which is
something like that.
perfectly acceptable. But I was thought we would run out of games. I'm still of that belief now that we could be doing with 8 games to go.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? I just feel like if we had the 2 extra 3 get in, that's all reflective on the action that the club did or didn't take when they get rid of Kettlewell, and then they take too long to bring in McCann, and now I think we're paying the price on the park. So I feel for the players to an extent, because they are playing well, and generally the performances, bar a couple of aberrations, have been good. But I just think it's just we might just run out of games unless we can put a big one up at Pittodrie. That's how it feels.
It's amazing, isn't it? You look back at like the ones like the Greg Stewart games, the Boydie games, the Dale Watson games up at Pittodrie. It's not a bad place to go in comparison to Easter Road. Bad hours, but nobody's under the illusion that it's going to be easy, and it's just one of those ones. If you can get something up there, that's a big lift in itself.
Aye,
like,
of course.
and we go into the other 4 games, but Livy, the last game as well, like nobody's going, there's 3 points there. Like, I think they're incredibly nice.
Of course it is.
Like they'll start, these guys will be fighting for contracts and stuff. Like we know too well ourselves that going down to the Championship, the financial implements that has for a club. So there'll be guys at Livingston out of contract that will be playing that maybe not had the chance of playing to play for points. So even Marvin Bartley as well, he'll be trying to go through sorts. No game here whatsoever is going to be easy. So that's I hate this phrase, but as it's 5 cup finals.
The last 3 seasons, round about this time, we've always had one big away win.
Right.
Like when we just stayed up, the win at St Mirren. The next season, St Johnstone. When we won that St Johnstone game, we're like, right, we're getting Europe here.
Aye.
This season again, after that, it was a win against St Johnstone. And you're thinking, right, we should be all right here.
That's right.
Just need to do that.
I think that's what we need.
I like that.
Aye, no, okay, that's a fair way to put it. Right, so we'll go over and answer some of the questions. Before we do that, we got a message through for Adam Lyon. A huge thank to all the Trust members who came to hear Willie Waters in the Trust Club on Saturday. It was our biggest one yet. We had around 70 people in attendance, with the interview expertly conducted by Sandy Armour, friend at Pod. We also did our latest Killie Exiles Day. 10 Killie fans from England, up north, and even South Carolina.
Nice.
Up to watch the game, with Jim conducting a special tour of the ground prior to the match. Unfortunately, there's no Trust Club for the Dundee United game due to prior bookings in the hotel, but they'll return with a bang for the final home fixture against Dundee. Nice. You've been a couple of times.
Very good.
Yous will no get for yous are grafting.
We're in amongst it, aye.
They've probably got moles in there though for a wee year to the ground.
Aye, to find out what's happening.
Exactly, for sure.
Every chance.
But no, incredible space. Great guest that they're getting. Willie Waters again, it's one of these ones, isn't it? Like before Baythor times, of course, but such a legend amongst the Commander support, and through that period, like for we got to the depths that the club got to, and he was one of the heroes throughout that period of time. So that's such a good one for that kind of generation of Commander support, and they've had plenty of other good guests there, and I've really enjoyed it, and I've not been able to go as much either because obviously I'm trying to get to the ground there and all the rest.
Aye, alright, man. So make me feel left out here. Don't worry, somebody can still drink the pints of the pyramid at 2 minutes to 3.
I know. Well, I need to go up and have a word with Billy, man, because I don't think I've seen him.
No.
Love the pyramid, what place.
I think you've moved on.
I know.
You go to the other snooker.
The other these rumours about shooters and all.
I know, it's not good, man. Right, okay, so obviously the boys work for the club and they'll know some of the people that we're talking about, so we'll not put you in the spot too much, but me and Cal are happy to tell. No, you know them too. I'll just need to do a monologue.
Just do that, mate.
Right. First question is Killie Nice asks, what has Roos got on McCann? So there's a few questions about the goalkeeper. Goalkeeping situation this season has been slightly farcical, with McCrory ending up away on loan, who probably would have ended up playing, Beach signing, and then McKettlewell not thinking he was good enough. Olawayemi coming in on a kind of day-to-day basis. He was temping at one point.
Wavering, man.
It's been a long season, isn't it?
And then Roos coming in, being alright-ish, but kind of went off the ball for me. And then obviously the situation with Max Stryek, whose health is easily the most important thing and all that.
Absolutely.
Situation now developing where I think the majority of the support, rightly or wrongly, are kind of probably ready for Roos to not be the goalkeeper anymore. Great penalty save as it was, but I think that tells you everything you need to know about the general consensus. because saved a penalty in the last minute and folks still want him dropped the next week.
And it's the second time he done it. He saved a penalty.
He did.
Paradise and all, didn't he, as well?
Great penalty stopper.
Exactly.
And obviously Stryak's on the bench. So I think the situation now developing is Max Stryak fit enough to play? That's the thing for me. He's not recovering for a broken ankle here. He's recovering for a major health issue. So to me, it's a wee bit more binary than just like, oh, he's a thigh strain, we'll give him 20 minutes. Like, is he fit to play or is he no fit to play? And if he's no fit to play, why is he on the bench? So what's your take on the goalie situation, mate?
I think that's it, really, is the crux of it, and that's the questions that a lot of the fans are asking, particularly when you're seeing the amount of goals that we're conceding.
Insane, mate.
Which is, I think that's, somebody made a good point in the forums that, and I think you and I speaking anyway, that we can all agree with the attacking play under McCann has been night and day, but Absolutely. It seems like the defence has just been sacrificed. But we weren't very good at defending before that anyway. I mean, let's be honest, as you said, this goalkeeping situation has been ongoing for the minute that this has happened to Max before the Hearts game back in October. But I think that it's valid questions, because I said the old cliche on here when he was on the bench saying, oh, well, if he's on it, he must be fit to play. But we completely understand that there's other circumstances at play there. But you make a good point when you're looking at McCrory now, and you're like, would McCrory have been a better option to just have a bit of the club for the beginning of the season when you see what's been left with? You'd probably say aye. But ultimately, Stuart Kettlewell made that decision, and we'll need to see how this plays out. But I think that that Stryak, he must not be fit to play. I think that is it. That's me just guessing with the situation, because I thought if anything he would be back in after that Falkirk game, and we had the
Scottish Cup, the natural break for him to come in,
and it never materialised. And I think that now, I think that they've just got to stick with us. I know somebody made a point in the forums as well about, you go back to when Jimmy Calderwood was a manager, and Cammy Bell actually had a really good season, but he got dropped for the second last game of the season for Alan Coombe to come back in at Pittodrie, which they might win there as well coming up, and Coombe played the last two games. So I mean, it's no unknown for a manager to change that, but I just think there must be other things there, and I think that Roos will be the goalie whether we end up in the playoffs or no.
Interesting. Right, okay lads, you can answer this one. Right, how many points do you think we'll get post-split? Right, so we'll go around the table. Right, be honest, I know these are your pals, right? But, we're your pals, stay. Right, of course. This LH31 says Aberdeen 0. What do you think, Aberdeen? I'll say 0. There you go. We're 0. We're not getting up there.
You know, I can't say on record that we'll get better. I've never done that.
I'm happy. I want egg on my face now, mate. I'm happy. I can replay it a million times. We won't win at Aberdeen.
So shite, isn't it? But like, aye, right. I'll let you take that one.
Right, 0. Aberdeen lads.
Got a point.
Aye, a point. I'll go there. I know a figure in my head that I want to say overall, but right. Aye, I'll go for a point now.
Dundee United, I'll go for 3 points.
Aye, 3.
Aye, 3 points.
Confident that. St Mirren.
I think we'll win there.
3 points.
3.
Love going there.
I think we'll get beat at St Mirren. Home to Dundee.
We need to beat them.
Yeah,
you can't play Dundee 3 times at home in a season and take two or 3 points for it. That should, in any other year, you're kind of looking at 7-9 points, whatever. So aye.
I think we'll win our home game there as well.
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
And then Levy away.
I think we'll win up.
I think
we'll win up there, but it's still what I said earlier on. It's
no easy.
Aye. So mixed bag there. Right. Ray D says well-fired roles. Yes or no?
Depends what I'm in the mood for, you know. Depends what I'm having with
I'm
it.
developing a taste for them as I get older.
I don't really like.
See if I've got bacon in it, I'll go well fired. If it's just like a tatty scone, nah.
What do you have? Do you have sauce with your bacon?
Aye, red.
Red with bacon?
Is that controversial take?
I just thought I was going to bring me bacon, but listen, this is what we want. We want a range of opinions here.
Diverse opinions on this podcast, man.
Mathematics asks, with 5 games left of the season, how do you think the league's going to look at the end? So Livy will be bottom. I think we'll finish above Aberdeen, Cal.
I know this is coming back to.
We're back to haunt us. We're going to end up in Europe, man.
Because we said a few weeks ago that we thought all the talk about catching Aberdeen was a bit premature, and we get dug up a couple of weeks ago about it, and we're thinking, right, no, we're not saying it's not possible, but here we are still 2 or 3 weeks down the line, we've not caught them. And what is it, 5 points?
5 points, really, aye.
So again, if we can go to Pittodrie and win, great, reels them right back in, but as I keep saying, focus and catching the team directly above you and take it for there.
Yeah, he's just take it one
If
step.
you can win that St Mirren game,
Absolutely.
I think what we need to do, hand on heart, the way the fixtures roll, if you can get to that St Mirren game
And call
within
it.
striking
Aye.
distance, that's would be my target. To get up
Absolutely.
there and be a point behind them, do it,
Aye.
and go up there and win,
Sell it
and then
out.
it changes everything.
Aye.
Because
Um,
we will sell it out, and that's
will do,
like that just shows you that the fans have been brilliant this season. And that's
Absolutely.
something like McCann. The Dundee United game, obviously one of McCann's first away games. He just finished in the BBC, and he said to me, "I was like, I saw him at the boys and like fans in already." I was like, "No, absolutely." I said, our away support's brilliant. If you compare it to like the season ticket ratio, those at travel, it's brilliant. And he said when he was getting the job, or wanting to get the job, sorry, he's looking through clips, and he said he even noticed that at St Mirren. And I think that was maybe one of the times that we hadn't actually sold it at St Mirren, but
Aye.
the manager recognises that, like he gets it.
Oh, the away
Level.
supports.
Aye.
Oh,
I don't think other fans of other clubs, I don't think they understand that. Like when you sell it, so much, that's like a fifth of your season ticket support.
Aye, are they?
Like the majority of away games.
Aye.
Like it's incredible.
Aye, we're weirdos, aren't we? Strange behaviour, man. Right, so a couple of questions about the refs again. Level 1 football watcher. First half, 7 fouls against Killie and 4 against Dundee. In the second half, 3 against Dundee and 17 against Killie. Do you think there was any motive behind the refs' change in decision making? Ali Baba says, what do you think about the state referees these days? All the faffing about VAR needs to go in the bin. It's ruined the spectator experience.
We definitely know what the motive was.
Aye, it's sort of the conspiracy
It was a
theory, innit?
conspiracy, mate. 2-1 Kelly at half time.
Have to get a draw.
Can't it be seen?
Let's do it.
That's about 2 years.
Exactly.
Aye, that's
That's
what we.
it,
And if anybody thinks there's no connection between us going to the moon and Kelly drawing 2 with Dundee,
You ever seen it in the same place?
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to say too much. DMC says, should we just go gung-ho in the remaining games? We lose 2 goals a game anyway. We're odds on to finish 11th after Dundee game and no serious risk of finishing 12th. Do we just go attack? I thought that's what we were doing.
We're kind of doing that anyway, to be fair. I can see his point, but like the fact that we maybe even kid on to try and see out games, like we no negative substitutions, but like wise when you see like Bruce Anderson coming off, Rory coming on, thinking that's one to shore up a game, but let's stop kidding on, man. We can't shore up games.
No, exactly. We just need to go for it, man. A few more 4-3s would be nice, wouldn't it? Scouser says, we've scored a few more goals than most of the teams around about us, but we still sit 11th as our Achilles heel all season has been how poor we are defensively. 65 league goals and counting. We all know the main blame is the previous manager for the poor recruitment in the summer and badly managed goalkeeping issues at this stage, though. Do you think McCann should at least try to improve his defensively, change the keeper or adapt to that diamond formation? You've nailed it, mate. We've been left with a squad who are ill-equipped to defend properly. We never hammer individual players because every one of them is light years ahead of us, and I always believe that every one of them is trying their best. I've never ever bought into that a player's no trying. It'll be hurting them just as much as it hurts us when they're conceding goals. There's no doubt about that. But the blame to me, there's loads and loads to go around, and I think it's the summer, mate. Like with the summer, and I said to you on the way down here, like I regret how I watered my opinion down on it because I thought it was a terrible appointment, and I tried to be positive, but I should have just said what I felt.
That was the Lone Ranger, man.
Aye.
I take all the flack, man. Everybody can I hate it Kettlewell, man.
Aye.
Because there's no point in trying, because I'd already publicly aired those views. But I think that's what he goes back to. And when you see the job that he's doing at Ross County now as well, you're just like, how we ever were in a position where he was a manager of this football club. I'm badly disappointed.
Well, the moves you're making, you could be the next manager. The sounds of things, you and Pates will be in, man.
Climbing the ladder, man.
That,
McCann dodged it.
Roy Evans and Gerard Houllier, man. Right, Puffer says most are agreeing that Lyons isn't captain material. Who's the best and worst captains you can remember?
I mean, with regards to like worst ones, not even for any type of player, but because he was injured all the time, Stevie Smith,
Aye.
kind of Gary Locke maybe, but I think Gary Locke was good at the dressing rooms and all of that, but I think when you consider what they were actually given on the part, but a captain's more than that, innit? What were you guys' favourite captain?
Favourite captain?
Kind of look past
With Scally,
Big pass guy.
Yeah, it's kind of like your earliest days of being a Killie fan.
even
Pascal.
games where like he wasn't brilliant, still Pascal.
Aye, well that's it. Aye, and I think that's maybe what we're missing this season. Honestly, somebody that's like gonna dig you out a wee bit more. Pascal probably my favourite too over the years as well.
Your favourite, innit?
Absolutely loved him.
What about for you as I've been at the club, like no putting on the spot, who's been one of the best?
Vass was good.
Aye,
Vass was a good leader.
Vass was good.
I think Dicker. I really liked Gary Dicker. I feel like he was like a proper senior leader
Aye.
and stuff like that. I do really like Brad. I'm Well, I think he's a great guy. He's another one. I think I've said I take a shot every time I say somebody gets the club in this, but he does. He understands it and he knows what it means to the fans. He's done press enough this season as well, and like he understands that everybody's hurting, and like you say, there's no player that goes out there not to perform, and everybody's trying, and he's one of the ones that will probably suffer the most because he's captain, but he does a great job. Him and Dee do a great job of lifting all the boys up no matter what goes on.
I think that is actually one of the factors. Ken Mead in the Patreon on lines, and I kind of made my points clear where I did rate him, but I don't think that he was as good as folk made him out to be. But I think that he's carrying the cannons heavily because he is the captain now, and that comes with the responsibility wearing the armband. So I think that nowhere near he's getting that amount of stick. If
he's no get the if he's no the captain, it's maybe just been bad timing for him to mate. Mikey got in touch to say Big Max must be wondering what he has to do to get a game. McCann seems to be waiting too late to make changes. The ref on Saturday's the worst I've ever seen, and 7 minutes for a VAR check. Get it in the bin. Fair enough, mate. Get to the point. Right, Changing Man asks, question inspired by the guy who did the tour of Killie pubs on Saturday.
Oh, I've seen this.
If you take any other pub you've visited and drop it into Killie to add to your pre-match rotation, what pub would it be and why?
Oh, that's a good question.
Can I jump the guns here?
Go for it.
Yeah, I think it's a shambles. He didn't go to the pyramid.
Aye,
So the shambles.
Aye.
Maybe he's buzzing. Billy's not like dog.
Maybe I just had the camera with him, man.
But nah,
Should have popped in a big because he done a fair few of them, man, didn't he? He was in the welly and all that.
Aye, what was it, 14?
14 pubs, man, aye.
And what's the time period?
I think it was just Saturday afternoon.
Sun is up.
I actually pictured the sun was up. It's May obvious. So
He's maybe going in and just having a wee hoff or something, but what pub would you have to wrap it in a Killie?
oh, it's a right good question, that, man.
Aye.
One that I should have given more thought.
Right.
I know your answer.
What?
That place in Portugal.
But
But you can't drop that.
couldn't drop that anyway. I think the one for me, if I was thinking you could drop that in a Killie, we brought
All shoe in Glasgow.
the Lauriston in Glasgow.
Lauriston in Glasgow.
Lauriston in Glasgow.
Highlander on Ibiza. I know it's not really.
Oh, let's go to the garage on a Saturday night, mate. It's the same as the Highlander. Very similar. You think we'll ever see Robbie McCrory in nets for Killie again? Teeth grinder asks.
I think that because his contract's up and all in it. So I think that we'll not see him again.
Pie Boy says is Roos, the Dutch Doiler. Vanilla Dijon says, what are your thoughts on posting the team list online 90 minutes before the game? I can't wait for the notification to scour over who's in and who's out, but I miss the nostalgia of the pre-smartphone days when you had the team over the tannoy. People genuinely clapped and cheered each player. Different days, isn't it?
That's like ours, kind of. He's ruined that for people.
It's just
Fair to the job, lads. We don't blame you for that. The Level 1 Football Watcher said has posted some interesting stats for the last, since 2002-3, about home and away. So basically, before the plastic pitch and after it, where win percentages went from 36 to 38, and where away wins have went down from 26 to 21%. So there is a wee correlation there.
There is. I think it's natural that for most clubs they should carry better home form than away. I think that's probably across the board. And you and I ken somebody commented in the Twitter saying that they disagreed with us with saying about the pitch, but we weren't coming out and completely blaming that. We're just like, what else? What else?
It's too obvious.
Like when you're seeing how bad the away form has been, and not just this season, not just the first season back up under McInnes, like properly for COVID. Like, and I know under Steve Clark we had the best away record in the league at one point, but you're just like, we need something else to counter that. Then I mean, the only external factor is the pitch.
Aye, well, it'll change soon, man. Right, I'm going to rattle through these. Presto said, was the VAR decision slower than Doyler's diving? Land Rover also asked about the goalkeeping situation and all, and asks where Kellerus ranks with the goalkeepers. We did our Patreon about that.
We did our Patreon.
But Roos wasn't there at the time, so we need to revisit it. Barbino says, if you could bring back 2 former players and slot them into the team, who would you bring back? Eremenko for me, then Pascali for passion, or Boyd for goals.
can't really argue with that, can you?
Eremenko and Greg Stewart.
Aye,
Greg Stewart. See, just letting what everybody says, we kept Greg Stewart with finish second, but like, that was just probably that wee spell there. That was just a killer player.
He was so good to watch, wasn't he?
Be good to go on the pod, wouldn't
He'd be good to get on the pod, aye. Okay. We'll see. Right, Dillinger says, inspired by Rory McIlroy's Masters win, what are your favourite sports to watch besides football? Favourite sports people and favourite sporting moments you've witnessed?
As it Kens, I'm a big rugby fan, obviously.
Oh, aye, of
that
course,
clear
mate,
on this
aye.
pod time and time again.
Definitely.
No, I genuinely don't really watch any other sport. Don't get the time for it. Don't even watch football. Out with Scottish football, I've come on it. But I can respect certain things. But I'm a wrestling man.
Wrestling.
Don't mind boxing sometimes, but to say that I actually care about it, no.
Favourite sports person outside of football? Got one?
Michael Jordan, mate.
Michael Jordan, aye. Okay.
Like a bit of tennis.
Tennis?
Big Roger Federer.
That's my favourite
He's my-
sportsman.
Just
Out with
just-
an absolute class act, mate. Love Roger Federer. And I know Djokovic has passed him now, but Federer I would be the king for me.
And that Djokovic Federer game when it went to how many sets?
Aye.
4 hours long.
Love Federer, he'd be my choice. So your tennis, that'd be your second choice
I'd
after
say so,
football?
aye. Tennis.
Love yourself, Blair. What are you going for?
F1.
Aye,
F1?
F1.
Honestly,
One of these new people that like the Drive to Survive like that. on
Ah, right, got you.
Can I go back
Hooked
in?
you, mate.
Oh, it did. No, it done its job.
And here you are.
F1's growing incredibly, but I try and favourite sports person. I really liked Kaka when I was younger.
Oh, aye. Yeah, good player.
Out with football though.
Aye, that's true. George Russell, F1 driver.
F1, George Russell.
Like,
Remember John used to be the spitting image of Sebastian Vettel.
Sebastian Vettel, aye, very like
There was my big bear John was honestly like him. And I forgot to mention
like him.
snooker. I like snooker.
Snooker's easily my second favourite. I'm
darts
getting
as well.
I like a bit of darts.
I'm getting deeply in it. And I like the darts too, but aye, snooker for me is probably my go-to now.
What about you? Well, Federer in it. Yeah.
Federer, but love Ronnie O'Sullivan and all.
Class,
Yeah, just a maverick, mate. Bullet says Mackenzie should be in before Lowry, Watson, Lyons, McGuinness and Poworth, especially the diamond formation. Why is he the only midfielder at the club that's not getting a chance?
He's been coming on more so than he was under that period under Kettlewell and that. McCann's, I think, utilised him more, particularly in recent weeks. But I think everybody, Rory does split opinion with some folk, but I think everybody agrees that when you're particularly talking about no player goes and doesn't put effort in. But one thing's for sure, where we are now, we could do a lot worse than Rory McKenzie in the park. For, as much as Blair's saying, when we talk about players that get the club, nobody gets it more than Rory McKenzie.
Class act, man. This is an interesting question, just given what the boys have kind of gave us the insight into. I'm sure you'd agree that since McCann and Dodgy have come in, we're better to watch at home and have scored some good goals. However, if we go down, do we keep them in place? I'm in the fences. Defensively, we're rotten, and my away day experience has been destroyed. I spoke to Fleck earlier on the day, and he said for him, at least now we know that if we go down, McCann and Dodds are they're probably the right guys in place to get us back up because of the way they're playing. I would have probably leaned towards the other way. I think relegated, you need to make a change there, but to me it all plays out in the next 5 or 7 games. I really do believe that. If you go down, it's how do you go down, and if you stay up, then obviously they get the chance to build the team.
It's such a difficult one because I think that sometimes you've got to take all the emotion out of the decision as well, which would actually lead to probably sitting at fault like that. Because I think that the damage is done. We've said it on here how many times that it's gone through that period, and how long it took to get McCann in. Even getting those extra couple of games, I think we're in a far better position rather now. Because I've seen enough of them come in, but relegation is such a low ebb. You know what I mean? Like, it would only happen for the second time in my lifetime if that was the case. But it's funny because both those guys have got good championship experience as well in the style of football, but it's one of them, it's just a horrific, and it's a bridge that we hope that we don't need to cross anyway. And we'll not put any pressure on the boys in answering that one.
No.
What I would say though, when they came in, McCann and Doddsy, like look at the window we had in January.
no.
That's probably one of the best transfer windows we've had in a long time. Like all those players that come in, like Michael, Tish, Joe, Curtis, they've slotted right in. And that has
We
been a big part of it.
You wouldn't realise he's on one for Rangers. Like, yeah.
Aye, so still
McCann says he's brilliant, and he's right involved. Like he's genuinely.
FFB,
He's a great wee guy.
Pocket rocket, so he just pings about the place. He's a great wee guy to have about.
But I'm sort of like, if you give them a full summer window, like that's the type of players that are like Joe, we're getting him from Man United. If these are the players that we're able to get in with the recruitment guys,
That
like,
was a great pool.
Love Tish to stay, man. Surely, man, he needs to stop going away to just come back, man. Just stay. Sign a 4-year deal, mate, and then retire.
The final question is on Tish. I thought Tish was the best player on the park on Saturday by not having the legs of Watson. We lost that ability to cover the right back position, which he did so well at home. The 2 goals came from Brandon's exposure. Why can't the team learn from the constant errors? Interesting, you thought about putting Brandon in the middle of the park and putting Neil to right back.
I did. With my, so again, if McCann's watching, mate, no one's in it.
Neil, look for any tips, pal.
Absolutely no. But I think that I think that particularly we speak about how good Larsson's been,
Absolutely.
and I know that the Brandon's a different kind of fullback when he plays there, but I think that at times it were far too, I was, again, it's deliberate though, but even in that first half against the D, couldn't believe how high our fullbacks were. Like, again, brave as anything, like, and it's reaping rewards when Larsson's scoring every other game now. But I think that if we're talking for a wee bit of defensive solidity, I think Mail's got to come back in, and I know before Mail struggled as well, but things haven't really get better for him being out the team either, with carrying his injury. Mail's been through the ringer with Killie before, both ends, Ken, for getting Europe to then keeping us up.
Yep.
I think doing that and just balancing out that team a wee bit, and I think that what we need is that bit of physicality in next to Tish has got physicality, but you know what I'm saying, more legs and that, and about him, particularly if he wants to play those two, and I think they would maybe complement that. I would go 4-2-3-1, play Tish and Brandon, and there let Brandon be the dog that he is and running about everywhere, and I would bring Watson back in a lot and get him to cover the right hand side. But ultimately then that right hand side, it's ideal for Watson to actually play on the left, because then you can get Larsson to go up and play higher up the park, and for somebody else to cover that space, because Mail's not got to venture forward as much, you know what I mean? But I think that I think that there's options there, and I think that we've got to roll the dice somewhere and change something.
Fair enough, mate. Right, we'll rattle through these. Maury replied, because I was supposed to be on the Tifo show on the BBC YouTube channel tonight. There was technical gremlins, so I think what happened was just my face kind of popping up and doing that. But they said they're going to get me back on, so apologies if anybody tried to watch. Maybe done you a favour. Killie Adventures. Evening, gents. Hope I've not missed the cut if you have not. First home game of the season that we've not made it to. Sending best wishes, of course, to our friends there. But the referee was glad that I wasn't there. Surprised he never heard me from Cowan. Absolutely shocking. The Shortley Samachuka gets in touch, and this I've noticed this on the socials. It was nice to see the club and the guys wearing the tackling testicular cancer shirts during the warm-up, something that's very important for gentlemen if they're watching. Obviously, hundreds of guys. But his suggestion is, surely we should have boot and ball cancer as a better name for the charity.
The salmon chucker delivers again.
Salmon chucker. Martin Wall gets in touch for the Killie View. I'm maybe in the minority, and I know our away record is a concern, but it's still in our own hands. It's disappointing. Saturday was a win at Aberdeen. Changes it until it's mathematically impossible. I'm keeping positive. As bad as Roos was, for all we know, that might be the penalty save that's the point that keeps us up. Fair point, man. Kenny the Kilt, has there ever been a worse refereeing performance than that from Ross Hardy at Rugby Park? 24 free kicks against us, blatant cheating or just inept? Galak says, as Alan Hansen once said, you won't win anything with kids or that big daddy in nets. Oh my God, he's terrible. The terrible fundamentals of being a goalkeeper, but another great performance from Tish, always in the right position. League dependent, do you think he stays? We've just kind of covered that there, mate. The goalie's getting it, man, it's no nice. Where else do we have here? Vicky Black, lovely Vicky. Right, what's your thoughts on the post-split fixtures? We've done that. The last home game is on a Tuesday night, my birthday no less, so praying Killie don't ruin it. Do we take a big away support to Levy on the last day, if no chance of escaping 11th, or do we save the cash for the extra games? I mean, in an ideal world, we go up to Livy and we're safe. We've got a wee 4-point cushion over whoever fancies finishing 11th. Or because it's, I mean, the potential is, imagine you go up there, right, and you're level on points with St Mirren, for example. You've got the potential to take 3,000-4,000 up there, because Livy would give you the full stand.
So the 8.
Aye.
8 roughly you get, and I'm not saying we'd take it, but I'm not saying we couldn't take it either. It's by like if,
proper cup final.
The potential would be there, wouldn't it? There.
Be huge, and that was one thing I was thinking of. I think that had been the last game, and thinking the potential for a absolutely huge away crowd.
Man,
but we just need to be in. We need to be in it.
Easter Road vibes, right? And for the early 90s, we take 4,500 up there. 88 minutes on the clock. Kroos comes in. Robbie D's header redemption story. 1-0, place goes mental. Livy break out the park, big Robbie scores. What do you think?
I can't lose, mate. I'm delighted.
You'd be happy with that, right? You're a big
Of course, no. But on that, we've got an update that I'm getting the boots off him to deliver to the wee guy that gets smacked in the.
There we go. I got a text about it from my mate Ross, so on the case, man. Right, Kevin KTID says, for all, I've got a lot of bad feelings towards Simon Murray. If we had a single player that gave that level of commitment, he'd be an automatic starter. Sometimes you have to show a bit of an edge. That's what we're lacking generally. Captain Conker says, whose penalty miss at Rugby Park have you enjoyed? And he also says, keep up the great content. You too. I seen Captain Conker on a scooter.
Aye,
I seen that.
Aye.
You know what I mean? Is there anything that's
all he can do?
mutated squirrel superhero can he do?
There's that time when he was on for like Monty doing the ride along thing, and you just seen him in that side.
That's right. I did a video of it. I actually got it. I penalty miss at rugby party. You've loved. I can't actually think of any.
If there's one that you like that, of course. Like, whilst you think I've at least got something, but I'm trying to think of something that I was like, oh, that was poetic justice. But spoke about that ultimatum I made with myself our first season back up, and I was at the director's box with Andy Barlow and his feather, and Stephen Fletcher got a penalty for Dundee United, and I'm like, and I made the ultimatum. I'm like, if he scores us, we're done. Even though it was only in January, but it was after the back of that horrific transfer window, and we'd only signed Chambers, who delivered for us, to be fair. And then Sam Walker saved the penalty, and I'm like, we'll be all right. And it worked it.
Did we save a penalty? Seen for Flag Day when we came up? That was Dundee United. That was one each, wasn't it?
Aye, Ash Taylor scored.
Did you penalty that day as well? Was it that one I'm thinking of?
I think that's the one Fletcher missed in the
I
January.
can think of a penalty we scored, but I can't think of one we saved.
No, but obviously the big Brophy one
Aye, that's
against
my-
Rangers.
aye.
It's class. But I'm struggling to think of huge penalty save.
Boydie missed a penalty against us once, but the bait's 4-0 anyway.
Aye, we never. Alan Thompson missed a penalty, didn't he?
Aye.
In the
But
famous.
it was your fault.
That was your fault, mate. Aye.
It's your fault.
That's
If
a
only
good
you scored
question.
that, Celtic would have won that league and there'd been no conspiracies.
Christy Syke, what's the best deal you've ever got? This can be anything from a reduced section purchase to a holiday. I actually know the answer to that.
Oh, good.
So I got a beautiful big umbrella for my back garden, right? Like, got the shout out to Stevie Cree, cleaned up all the
garden
garden,
guy.
and Ali Calder in that for doing with the power washing, CGM,
Property maintenance.
property maintenance. And I was like, right, need something else here. So I wanted like a nice one of the big proper brollies that you have to unwind. Is there a name for them that I'm forgetting?
Where does it come from?
What do you mean?
Above? Sorry.
No, it's just a big brolly. You stick it in the
All right.
thing, me right? You wind it up. It's
Oh, you getting a beer garden?
Aye, beer garden
Aye,
brolly, right?
aye.
So I've got one of these. So I'm like, right, I'm on a slight budget here. Went down to the range, and I think it was the woman's last shift, and she was not giving a fuck, right? And I was like, oh, I like the look of that. She went like, do you? Aye, 50 quid, just take it. I'm like, what?
There you go.
So I got the base, which is about 20
the whole
kilo.
shebang.
The brolly, which I could hardly get in the car, but I was making it work for 50 quid. I think the retail was about 300.
That's a good.
So to that lady, I hope our new career's going swimmingly, because I love that brolly. So that's my best deal.
Wow.
Ain't it
Good
for
one.
you?
Any of yours I've got?
I feel like you'll have something here, lad.
I bought a pair of sunglasses and boots once, right? The polarised ones, like proper good, best of gear.
Right.
And I went up. She's like, "You got any vouchers?" I was like, "Nah." "Oh, well, we look for you. 50% off. There you go."
Sorted.
Nothing on the big umbrella.
No.
But listen, I'll take it.
Right.
So wherever you
I
are.
think we're talking
Aye,
about
thanks. Right, so that's the range and boots. Anybody else want to get a shout out?
I've got a blockbuster, man.
Right.
I'm done.
You struggling?
Oh, yes,
Right, go for it.
And it wasn't me, it was again shout out to Alison, who's very good and thrifty when it comes to all that and able to get stuff for charity. She'll buy things for charity shops, game and lock them up, and it's like £300 jackets and all that. But I think I've said this before about the Gall of Fingers, man, right? And we were
That's the
in,
name of the podcast. There you go.
and he'll be delighted with that, man. And we were in Blockbuster, which again,
Rest in peace.
what a place. And we're in a Friday night to kind of get a couple of DVDs to rent or games to get the Blair's Heaven, man. We need that, man. And we're doing that, and Fingers went and got like one of the new FIFA games, and it was like, should have been $39.99, and he just turned the sticker off it and put a $4.99 sticker on it. And went up to the counter, and the guy scanning it got $39.99. He goes, "Oh, I don't know why it's done that." And he got it for a $5.
Well done, Fingers. Well done,
Finger,
son.
you know.
Excellent. We also stole. Yeah, I'm thieved. Our bathroom cabinet out of IKEA.
Well,
How did you?
Out of IKEA. No, it was before Frazzie's for the wee bathroom. I'm sure it was because, or was it that, or maybe it was our record player thing. Melanie will be able to correct me. You go through the self-service bit, and then couldn't get it through. So the woman came over, taking all the stuff out, beeping all the wee bits and bobs. Obviously, you're getting your wee bits for the bathroom and for the kitchen. And Mel goes, and only come up to 33 quid or something like that. We've got this big unit in it. Mum's like, £33, please. And Mel went to go, oh, and I actually went, there you go, 30 quid. Straight out the door. Victimless crime. IKEA still going strong. So thank you again to Boots, IKEA,
aye.
for sponsoring tonight's pod.
The only thing I've ever stolen in my life, right? Because I've got a right proper social conscience and all that. But there's reasons for this, and there's only something I can say on air. But we've done it at Stone Roses in Manchester, right? And I had a banging headache after it, and we went into, there's a Tesco right next to the Etihad down there, and the only thing I've ever stolen in my life, and the queue to get a meal deal was like off the grid, and I'm just taking that and eating it because all the money I've given Tesco over the years, I goes, there's my there's my £3. The only thing I've genuinely ever stolen in my life. I'll never do it. But I think
Stealing a wage.
I can't say that.
The police will be waiting. Right, and all the excitement, I actually forgot to give a big shout out to our sponsor. So before we answer the last 2 questions that we're going to do, I'm going to do that. So Nick, apologies, mate. This is, I hope he's definitely worth the wait. So before we wrap things up, here's a quick note from our friends at Allied Surveyors Scotland. Allied Surveyors have been carrying out valuations and home reports across Ayrshire and in Kilmarnock for over 20 years. Company director and lifelong Killie fan Nick Davis is based here at 91 John Finney Street and is here to help you if you've got any questions or queries or are looking to get your home sold. Right, okay, so we're running out of time very, very quickly here. We've got a couple of questions that will end up on loads of more stuff about the goalkeeper and the VAR situation. Nick asked a question about Jamie Brandon reading the Dom Thompson Beginner's Guide to Defending, but we'll skip all that stuff because these lads are amongst friends. Gunnar Vance says, alright lads, I've made peace with the fact that it's the playoffs for us. On another note, if for some reason blue and white stripes were banned, what would be your favourite colour or kit combo design for Killie?
The kit man,
I'm starting not that season, but the season after that's kits this week. From Greg.
Exciting.
I think you've got to go yellow and blue, don't you?
Yellow and blue.
Purple kit.
Oh, that's
Purple
purple kit after. The third kit this year's probably one of my favourites.
Oh, is it?
I know you don't.
No, I love it, the third one this year at all.
He was a big inspiration behind it as well.
Oh, are you?
It really hurt him when
I'm so sorry, mate. I'm just honest. I would go red and black. I think red and black's cool for a football team. Like red and black, like AC Milan.
Well, when I ran the Grange, my entire thing shows that there was no bias. I was going to have us wear, no wait, what was it? Blue and white or orange and white hoops at first.
Orange and white hoops.
But to keep. No, it wasn't. It was blue and white hoops and an orange away kit to keep Killie, Rangers, and Celtic happy.
How's Celtic happy there?
Hoops.
Oh, right. Okay.
No way any team been represented by me would ever wear green, so that's never happening.
Right, okay, right, we'll not get into that. Right, thanks to Kenny Hogan and Brian Gibson for their questions on all. R says about the goalkeeper again. Kyle Mull, if Paula Radcliffe left Rugby Park when Dundee's penalty was given and headed towards the town, where would she have been by the time it was saved?
Up at South Craigs.
South Craigs. Up at that BP. 2 big enough litre of diesel up there, man. Absolutely shocking. Alessandro Boscanero, who's not Italian, he's asking about Mayo being back into the team. Killie Data with some brilliant stats coming through. We'll end it with the real Boydie because he's the main event anyway. Just for the shout out for Davies Tunes last week. 1 listen means it was a success. Apart from Larson, why does nobody shoot in this Killie team? I can't believe Kiltie tries to go around the keeper. No shooting feels like it's been a problem for years. Any ideas? I think Finlay Curtis is bucking the trend, loves a shot. But I don't feel like you see screamers anymore.
I know, it's football.
That's the way football's changed, isn't it?
I know, it's your
Game's
peps
changed.
and all that.
You don't get them. Right, lads. So obviously we're delighted to have you here, and it's been great to get the insight. We're going to do more hour in the Patreon if anybody fancies joining up. That also means you'll be in front of the queue for some tickets for an event.
That's been booked.
We've booked KillieCon 2. It's happening the 31st of July.
2.0, mate.
2.0. We'll give you a bit more insight into that, but the best way to get a ticket and guarantee a ticket is to be on the Patreon. But gentlemen, speaking of tickets, obviously the season ticket campaign has been launched for next year.
Yes.
Tell us about it, man. What's your thoughts, feelings and energy on that?
Okay. No, we're absolutely buzzing to get that out wherever we are Killie. The name changed a few times. We won't go into that.
The idea was always
the idea was always there. Last year it was mainly about the town in itself, if you remember that one. This year I thought I want to go wider. I want to go Ayrshire. We'll go Ayrshire wide because we are one team in Ayrshire. Like we pride ourselves on that, and we thought that'd be the best way to do it. And I was reading through some of the comments when it came out. Somebody was saying, they thought they seen their old house in Troon and and then seen people saying, they're for Saltcoats and stuff like that. So we thought that was the kind of vision of it. We want to go around, show off that all roads lead to Killie in a sense, and that's kind of the vision we had. We wanted to start it down at the beach. Maybe you could be better to kind of talk about it for that.
Aye, well, Blair's really good to see for the big picture, like the concept, the idea, like where we're going, what we're filming, and then between us we'll chat about it and kind of form the kind of narrative. I just like the way it starts. The beach is kind of the serenity of it. It starts slow,
Very
slowly brings
cinematic,
in.
mate.
That's what I'm going for, aye. And then it kicks in, fast paced. Everyone's getting up, getting on the move to Killie. Because like for me, like I'm Fervin, so I'm 10 minutes up the road, and all my pals are Fervin, and we're all Killie fans. And loads of folk are the same. It's not just Kilmarnock. Like it is a wide club. There was even comments in one of the Facebook post for the season ticket, the folk for Newcastle.
No,
We can't wait to come back down next season. So we should get funded to go to Newcastle to film.
There you go. Well, there's surely salmon chuckles in Miami.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. You do that next year.
We'll do that next year.
That obviously connects with you too, man. Like obviously your dad and all that, and then you obviously grew up in the valley and all that, and you obviously hunters like always for Ross and Salkett.
Done at the A-frame and stuff like that.
Well, I think that's hugely important, and I think the messaging's spot on, because as much as, well, we are pretty patriotic and proud of our community, Kilmarnock alone, but it's bigger than that. You know what I mean? It is, and I think the valley is relatively covered. It always seems to go hand in hand. Maybe I'm just thinking that because I go in the bus, but you always just think Kilmarnock, Northern Valley, and that's not me just promoting Brown's seat that he's running for in the upcoming election, by the way. But it's so far beyond that. I said my dad's from Morecambe. The Kilmarnock Sports Club was set up there for my papa. Him that literally built it and that. But again, Scott, you're saying for Irvine and all the rest of it. Also get air and all that, all the right doing. It's huge.
You don't want to dive too far into Ireland.
Exactly, we don't. But that is the draw, that it's Ayrshire, and I think that it's brilliant. And the video was absolutely top class. But they'll hear that all the time.
Fans in Arran know that too. There's obviously folk from Arran that came out for games.
Because it's like it's like Killie is a town. Like we're never going to have the grab of big city clubs. But if you reach a bit further, like then draw them in a bit, like your Irvine, your Prestwick, like you're not far away for something like that. Like,
obviously, we understand that not everyone can go outright and buy a season ticket holder, and you're no less a Kilmarnock supporter if you can buy a season ticket holder. That's a really important message we want to get across. But the support for the fans over the past kind of couple of years and forever. Let's be honest, like forever and ever. But
Nice plug, man.
But no, the club's great, and everybody that even puts a thought into the club or like a penny into the club, it goes a long way. And if we want to compete with teams like that, Falkirk are doing really well, Rindbut Falkirk are doing really well. If you want to compete, it's wherever you can. You try and put your money into the club, or that's through the shop. We're trying to, like say, we're trying to design the best kits we can. We're trying to put storylines behind the kits. We're trying to give you good Killie limited range. Again, that's another great credit to Greg McEwen. He's been absolutely brilliant and instrumental in everything to do with the club, if I want to be honest. But it's just whenever you can, you put a bit of money into the club, and hopefully it goes a long way.
Aye, well, I mean, it's the campaign's class. And again, it's such an important part of a smaller club, like the support. But and I think in terms of pound for pound, we've just discussed that. There's no better support in Scotland for me, in terms of numbers and people backing the club and putting their money where their mouth is. And you will know more about that side of things. I assume now the strip sales, they're getting higher and higher every year, aren't they, man? It's like things like that. So, and you play a huge part in that, man, because you get the stories out there and it's high quality stuff. And Stu said that to the way in. He's a pro and he knows all that stuff. The stuff is really, really good, lads. So for me and Cal, we appreciate the hard work. I know the support generally feels the very same. So I thank you for your efforts, lads.
for us, like we are Killie fans, have been our whole lives. We want to put something out that we'd want to see ourselves.
Absolutely.
Like for the campaign, like I'm for Irvine. If the club's acknowledging that, listen, you're important, everyone's important. Like it's what I'd want to see. Like it's that emotional pull. It's that like you're for Irvine, but you are Killie.
So what we notice, and it's not to like slag off other clubs or anything, but you can tell other clubs and the staff and media members don't support them.
You can, man.
You can tell straight away, and like
The stuff might be good, but the passion just maybe isn't.
So saying like you've had offers, I've had offers to go elsewhere, and like we don't see anything along that right now. That we are committed to the club, and we want the club to do as best we can. That's like our job in a sense, is putting the club on the map. That is our job, and you guys as well.
I changed my mind. We're winning at Aberdeen, man. 15 points.
And you guys, like, you are brilliant as well. Like the club don't underestimate the power of this podcast in particular. Like it's great everything that he's doing. we appreciate coming on.
Big happy family here, aren't we, mate?
That is, man.
No, but aye, thank you so much for your input, lads. It's been really interesting for me. We love that thing. Anything you want to add before we wrap it up, Cal? No preview this week, so you can't back us to win.
Exactly, man. No, I think 3 years hit the nail on the head there, and it's good to get that messaging across, because a lot of the stuff we've had to deal with tonight, we kind of disappointing result of the weekend. It's good to end it on that note, and everybody's all in for these last 5 games, and we'll readdress it where we ultimately finish. But no, I'm hopeful. I said even last week that I did think we would probably still be in the playoff, but I think we've got more than enough, because I've saw from McCann's come in the improvement in this team, and I just think that because right off that middle part of the season has got to cost us, as we've said on here for weeks, but I've got full belief that we'll be playing Premiership football next season.
We'll leave it there. All right, everybody, have a brilliant Killie free weekend, whatever you're up to, and we'll be back next Monday to look ahead to Pittodrie. Until then, take it easy, and KTID. See you later.